100 hours of the most compelling gameplay. This year's most anticipated release is Final Fantasy VII.
Alright, I'm Typhon now. One of the summons from Final Fantasy VII, that'll do, won't it? There's something. There's something. I'll tell you what is something, I'll tell you what sure is something. GameStop, the increasingly fucking desperate retailer, has been getting into NFTs because of fucking course it is. Oh, and it wasn't enough that they did that. That wasn't tacky enough. Oh, fuck me in the a-hole, no. Now, they decided to go above and beyond the call of bellend by selling an NFT of a photo of a man flinging himself from the Twin Towers on 9/11. While you think that might be worthy of an entire episode of this show, I don't know if that's possible, because it would be 10 minutes of silence. I have no fucking words. GameStop, you are fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. Well, I guess I did find some words. Oh, and that's not the only garish, ghastly NFT news this week. Oh, no. So it is that we once again revisit the grimy, sleazy, seedy world of NFTs and a publisher that has become something of a favourite on this show. If by favourite, we mean a cavalcade of twatitude. I am, of course, talking about Square Enix. And if you have not heard this one, brace yourself. If you have heard this one, you might be tempted to say that with this particular news, with this particular scheme that Square Enix unveiled, they totally missed the point. I believe this is incorrect. I think they know what the point is, they're just being a massive piece of shit. NFTs may be failing, hilariously, pathetically failing, but that doesn't mean they're gone for good, certainly not yet. The environmentally hazardous crypto scam still has its adherents, zealots, and desperate investors trying to recoup sunk costs, and a number of those little freaks still think gaming is the space just gullible enough to ply their disgraceful trade. Take, for example, Square Enix. This company, which sold popular properties like Tomb Raider and Hitman for cheap in part to pay for its crypto investments, has sustained efforts to try and cram NFTs down all our fucking throats. And I like things being shoved down my throat usually. Talking about that. It wasn't funny, just true. Its latest con is not only pitifully despicable, it's also layered in a 3-foot thick wall of solid fucking irony. It's selling NFTs using Final Fantasy VII. Yes, Final Fantasy VII, the video game with explicit messaging about the dangers of climate change and capitalism's direct hand in those dangers. The game that consistently reminds us how ruthless, money-driven corporatocracy creates a haves and have-nots system that in turn births massive amounts of human suffering. And it's being used to sell NFTs. NFTs are hugely damaging strain on the environment, the distillation of haves and have-nots elitism, and the heartless, short-sighted typification of all that's wrong with ruthless, unchecked capitalism. Now in association with a game very fucking exactly not about all that. To say Square Enix has truly lost its way is to imply its way wasn't always that of purely fucked up greed, but the company has certainly lost any claim to even pretend it has integrity. It's lost any ounce of shame it may have once feigned, and it's most definitely lost its dignity. The scam artists at Square Enix are working with the scam artists at Engine to produce a series of scams that take the form of trading cards, though in fairness I shouldn't say take the form, as that implies NFTs are physical goods and not lines of code that confer ownership of fucking nothing to fucking nobody. That said, there is a twist to this. an actual physical element to the whole con job. The digital cards that literally anybody could save by right-clicking the JPEG are being sold via a line of real merchandise. The first announced merch is a Cloud Strife action figure, and an NFT version of said figure will be included in the deluxe edition of it. Yes, you heard me right. An NFT of the toy will be available with the toy. This toy. The one I'm showing you a picture of right now, using a photo we have saved. A photo you could save, thereby literally having a digital version of the toy without having to spend one thin dime. When I say NFTs are nothing, I really fucking mean it. This is what it is. The very idea of a digital version of a toy you own, one that can't be displayed, touched, played with, contrasted against the real one, is just fucking funny. Or it would be if NFTs weren't such a despicable grift. The way Engine is talking about said grift adds an additional layer of dishonesty, and it's really just downright fucking creepy. By using Affinity, fans can experience interactive NFTs without even realising they're on the blockchain, crowed executive Vitek Radomski. Engine can establish the next phase of growth in blockchain entertainment, merging curiosity and creativity. So the plan now is to just try and trick you all into partaking in crypto nonsense without realising it. And that's not me extrapolating or exaggerating, that's literally what this dickhead said. Using toys, trading cards and other physical goods as Trojan horses. God, nothing concerning NFTs has ever been upfront and honest, has it? You'd think that'd be a goddamn sign. It's also quite funny that this latest swindle requires the use of non-digital items that you pay for with real-world money. So much for that digital-only decentralized currency that runs independently, huh? Weird how all these scams fall back on dollars and yens in the end. Oh, but it gets even better than that. Engine is actually having to warn customers that these useless NFTs could somehow become even more useless in future. In case the Engine services become unavailable in the future, you may lose access to the NFT digital certificate of authenticity and digital version of the figure, they caution. I mean, it's nice enough for them to acknowledge the very real possibility that they could become the latest of many crypto companies to fall the fuck apart and leave customers with a non-existent albatross. But even so... Ha ha! Ha. You literally don't need that warning if you just sell a fucking toy like fucking normal. My boglins aren't going to fucking disappear suddenly one morning, are they? Also, they exist, unlike NFTs. Reiterating the environmental message of Final Fantasy VII is obvious and half the internet has done it already, but it's worth screaming from the goddamn rooftops. Out of all video games in mainstream history, Final Fantasy VII is easily among the worst games to pick as your NFT standard bearer. The game couldn't be more clear in its message that profiteering corporations are killing the planet. It is beyond plain with the declaration that ignoring climate change for the sake of short-term reward and convenience will be quite genuinely world-ending. Hell, the remake even ramps up some of the political messaging. I always think of Heidegger literally quoting bread and circuses. It's sad that Final Fantasy VII was yelling at the top of its lungs about climate change in goddamn 1997, and not only did things fail to improve since then, they only got worse. It's actual tragedy. The real-life Shinras of the world, energy companies that murder whole ecosystems without remorse and wield unchecked political power, have brought us past the point envisioned by Final Fantasy VII. It's no longer a fantasy. The class warfare, corporate fascism and imminent societal destruction found in that game is no longer a warning, but a reflection of what we're living. And fuck Square Enix for using that game in a scheme designed to profit at the expense of everything fucking else. It's beyond tone deaf, even that gives them too much credit. It's fucking cruel. At the start of the year, Square Enix president Yosuke Matsuda infamously authored an unsettling corporate manifesto laying out plans for a crypto-infused future where games would essentially become work and players would become labourers. Did I say essentially? This is one of the big end goals. Turn games into a secret job. To hoodwink the working class to still generate revenue for companies even on their personal time. Square Enix was just a little less subtle about it than most, practically sneering at the concept of playing games to have fun. Somehow, since that disturbing screed, Square Enix has only sunk lower and lower. This year it's released several traditionally scummy microtransaction fests with Babylon's Fall and Chocobo Racing GP, and it sold Tomb Raider, Deus Ex and a catalogue of thousands of games to chase the dying crypto market. Now its latest bollocks is straight up pissing on the sincerity of an all-time classic that carries a most tragically poignant prescience in a way that explicitly mocks that poignancy. I feel like even Rufus Shinra would think that what Square Enix is doing is a little on the nose. To quote Barrett, the planet's dying. That's more than a meme, it's simply reality. And companies like Square Enix have very real blood on their hands. Just how much lower can Square Enix go? Who knows? But one thing is absolutely for certain, they will go lower. If that's one thing we know about the game industry, if there's one thing we've learned over years and years of covering the game industry over here, it's that there is no bottom floor. Square Enix dug past the bedrock a long time ago and they have not stopped digging. The tastelessness, the tackiness, the sheer grody shamelessness of it all. Square Enix has embraced the lot. Anyway, NFTs continue to fucking plummet. The world of crypto overall is crumbling, and I hope the executives at Square Enix suffer as a result. Some might think that's mean, but come on. Executives aren't real people. Unlike me. Well, not this week, obviously, I'm Typhon this week. Anyway, here's a picture of Treyguard. Thank God for me, bye! Oh, don't worry about the working out what Treyguard is, Justin. I'll add that myself. I just can't be bothered to explain it to anyone who doesn't know.